I wouldn't say fact I think I have to give. I feel the fear quite strongly it is necessary to have a degree or it is not. Having studies is not important. It is not necessary to even have a university degree at all. Even high school say that if someone graduated from a great university, will be capable of great things. But that's not necessarily the case. If you look at, let's say, people like Bill Gates do at Tips, these guys didn't graduate university, but if I had the opportunity to hire them, of course, that would be a good idea. So, just looking for evidence of exceptional ability, and if there is a history of exceptional achievements, so it is likely that it will continue into the future. And as I describe myself, it seems like I have an innately high drive, and that has been true even since I was a small child. I had every high drive. Strong, then all kinds of risky things against a child that I did those things. I care a lot about the truth of things, and trying to understand the truth of things. I think that is important. If you're going to reach a solution, then the truth is really very creating a small school. Very important, I think, is obviously difficult, coming up with things that are a complement to oneself. Although even if you like them, there are bad and good things in this. But I think that sometimes they are things that seem quite clear and obvious to me, and I don't understand why they are not as obvious to fools like, you wanted 5 more children. Actually, I have created a small one, and what kind of school could you describe it? Yes, that is to say it is small when it has 14 children. Now, and it will have 20 million in September. It's called a straw, which means for the stars, and it is established a little different from most schools. There are no courses. There is no type of course. 1 course, 2 courses. I'm telling them that all the children go and that they are in the same grade at the same time. Like an assembly line. You know why some like English, others like languages. Mathematics, too, there's music and different skills, different times. It makes more sense to adapt education, their aptitudes. And the other is that it is important to teach to solve problems, or teach the problem, not the tools. So this would be like, let's say you are trying to teach people about how engines work before you knew you could start by the more traditional approach. Would be to say we're going to teach them all about screwdrivers and wrenches, and this you have a course on screwdrivers, a course on wrenches and all that stuff, and this is a very difficult way to do it. A much better way would be like, here is the engine, now we're going to dismantle. How we're going to dismantle it, you need a screwdriver, for that it is 2 screwdrivers. You need a wrench, for that it is the wrench. And then something very important happens, which is that the relevance of the tools is made so these 5 kids are in that school. Yes, until when? Until they are old, and if they like it, you want to keep them away from the regular schools. No, I simply saw that the regular schools were not doing the things that I believe should be done that way. Good, let's see what we can do. Maybe creating a school will be better. And I actually hired a teacher from the school they were in. They also agreed with me that there was a better way to do it. They surprised you in their way of innovative thinking. If it seems to be going quite well, I meant that the children really, they liked going to school. And I think that's a good sign. I hated going to school where it wasn't torture, so the fact that think the holidays are too long, they have to go back to school. Like that. Personalities different? Well, they are very different personalities from each other. Well, I think that all 3 of them were technologists, but with different types of jobs. She was obviously very good with aesthetics, with technology too, of course, and he really got involved where people even wanted when they didn't know each other. I wasn't afraid to break the boundaries gates. I would probably be better at the raw engineering and technology type jobs, but not as good at aesthetics. I meant these guys from the obvious. They are impulsive and they are very talented. Great people are able to close great people to maintain a company. But they needed the ability to attract and motivate great people. That is critical to the success of a company, because the company is just that it is a group of people who come together to create a product or service. It must be, it is the purpose of a company. We cannot forget this elementary truth. So if you are able to get great people to join the company and work together towards a common goal and have a kind of relentless sense of perfection about that guy, the night is going to end up with a great product, have a great products by. We know that we will be successful. If really that means that if that is in fact, I think I have to I feel the fear quite strongly. But if what we're doing is, what I'm saying, I think that is important enough, then he's simply overruled. The fears like this, that's not like that, it's not how I feel. I feel a little stronger than I would like. Well, it really depends on what's at stake. Note if the stakes are high, because if it's really important, then none should already, how to overcome fear and do it anyway. Essentially, just overcome fear. But 300 fears is a bit annoying. I wish it wasn't like that. If all those accounts and respective ones are interesting, I don't get them done very often. And then I kind of try to think an obvious, a precise answer who said that it is a favor to evaluate oneself himself in these things. Chances of success, probably SpaceX. I know that he had the least chance of success, that is to say, well, it is removed. Then like SpaceX, they would fail at the beginning use, of course, but nevertheless, you put all the money in it. I expected green, but well, technically what I thought was good. I'm going to take half the money from PayPal. If I lose half, that's fine. But then, of course, companies run into difficulties, and then they have a choice that you like to let the company die, or put everything in money in companies. And that's why I really didn't want the companies to die, so I put all the money in the companies, yes, and then I had to borrow money from friends to pay living expenses. Silicon Valley, this is difficult. I guess coming to North America was my better idea, but because I think these things wouldn't have made it for us anyway. You know that, if anywhere else, it's really difficult to start a company, but you know that, in particular, California, Silicon Valley is very conducive to startups. And if then already, every time I read books in South Africa, it seemed that the cutting edge of technology was in Silicon Valley. And so that I wanted to come and I wanted to move to this mythical place. Well, there are a lot of things, but, when the date is shortened of things, what could be done that one can't necessarily? Do I really question without perspectives? I don't mean in general. I think I'm pretty happy with what is, but where things are, it's hard not to do it, honestly. I would be if things they are in a place now myself. I want to say, I would like to look forward. I would like to see humanity go beyond Earth and have people on Mars. That would be really cool to see the widespread adoption of electric vehicles and renewable energy. These are great things. Yes, I thought it would be really great.